This is the fifth time today, maybe second time or third time tonight that I'm trying to do this, and I tried it yesterday as well. Real life got in the way, so we'll see how this goes. I want to talk about something that I brought up in the forum a little while ago, which is play Transport Fever 2 on a less than ideal computer, which most computers are less than ideal when you want to play on the bigger map sizes, especially Megalomaniac. Usually you will run into lagging within a couple in-game years of playing. Someone on the forum called well over 50 brought something up that is probably well known in the forum, but I never thought about this way before, which is we all know everything is agent-based in the game, and every agent slows down your processor, and the current game before the update is not very optimized for spreading out the load. So here are some things that I heard from well over 50 that help. Pretty simple. Use less cities. Use small cities. That's important. And know how many industries you need, so you don't have excess things going on. Obviously, try to keep all of your trees on the map down to a minimum. Let's get started. First, obviously, map editor. I assume that you already have enabled experimental map sizes. If not, just Google it. There's a bunch of good tutorials on Steam, and also other videos that will show you how to do it. You do it in the settings Lua file for your install folder of Transport Fever 2. Map editor. I have it already set up. You want to set your map to Megalomaniac. If you want to stay smaller, go ahead. I recommend Megalomaniac. Personally, I like 1:4 just because if you spread out the cities a little wider, I find it more fun to build lines, build the routes there instead of just going north-south. You can also go a little east-west. 1:5 will be a little longer, but a little narrower. The square footage is the same. Don't worry about the seed. We will change the seed when we get there. In settings, you can set it up to just be temperate, dry, tropical. Personally, I like to make sure that my climate is what I want it, my environment is what I want it. Town names, do your preference, but I prefer to have all vehicles. I want to play on hard. You can change the difficulty later on when you start the game, but it's important. If you have any industry or map generating mods that you want to use, this is the place where you want to do that. Make sure they're enabled before you generate the map. I want to do it as vanilla as possible, so nothing is enabled. Let's save that and jump into the map. Music is always a good sign that everything's working. Alright, we start out with a completely empty map. Very normal. We haven't generated anything. Let's start out with finding a map that you like. I prefer having a waterway for at least more than half of the map. I like to use ships if I can, if I have to. You're going to use planes probably regardless. So once you find a seed that you like, stick with that for your map. I like to crank my hilliness up just because I like challenging terrain, and I try to turn the forest down as much as possible because every tree is an agent that will slow down your processor and your game will be slow. I'm gonna do almost the lowest for now. Let the computer figure out what it wants to do, generate that map. My computer has to run the streaming software and this game, which is not very light on the software, but on the hardware. But we will do. Just bear with me. Okay. Now the computer knows what it wants to do. Looks like we have a couple hills here. Nice little valley here. Looks good to me. You can keep changing the seed if you want. I'm pretty happy with this one. Once you click generate, give your computer some time. This is not a simple process for it to go through. If you watch the replay, I will probably speed this piece up. There we go. Getting some terrain. Everything is rendered one by one. This will be pretty slow the first time you load the map, so just give it some time. It will get done though. At this point, I like to look around. How's it all looking? Is there enough forest? Is there too much forest? Honestly, just looking at this, there's a lot of forest on here. You can choose to reduce that forest. I'm gonna go with this amount for now. The map will keep generating. Don't worry about these little lines that you see everywhere. They are just part of the game at this stage. When you actually play, they won't be there, so don't worry. Next, there's a tiny bit of math. As mentioned before, well over -50 gave me some pointers on how we can do this and make it work on a smaller machine. And one of the big things he pointed out was build cities in multiples of 6, use at least 12. So 6, 12, 18, 24, so on. He recommends in multiples of 6 because there are 6 final industries that can be delivered to cities, and each city uses 2 of those products, and every industry can supply just about 2, maybe 3 in the late game cities. So I like to play with 24 cities and 68 industries. 68 because for 12 industries, for 12 cities, we would like 34 industries, just because the 6 final industries plus all the supply industries, the supply chain, all the way through, adds up to 34. I didn't double check his math. It sounded right, because we do need a lot. So we're gonna go with 24 cities and 68 industries. For the cities, just go number of your towns. We want 24. Excellent. Here again, you can use the seed that you already used for the map generation, or you can change it. I want a little more near the water, so I'm just going to change it. Let's see what we get. This now becomes a nice valley. There's a couple towns here. I would like a town here, but we can change that later. For me, this looks pretty good. So we're going to go with 24. And some people may not like this music, but especially in the first few hours of a new map, always enjoy it. Okay, all our towns are done. Let's jump straight to the industries, just for now. Again, same thing here. If you don't like the seed, you can change it. As we said before, we have 24 cities, so we want 68 industries. Again, if you had 12 cities, you want 34. But also if you had 6 cities, you want 34. Just a minimum number that works. So 68. A little much. It's thinking. It's thinking. I wish we could just type in how many we want. No, I didn't. I did not click there. Come on. This piece should be a little easier for your machine when you do it at home. I really just want 68. No! Struggle? Okay. 68 industries. Let's see what we have here. There's a lot of stuff in the mountains, which could be nice if we want to go realistic with coal and iron mines in the mountains and stone. We can choose to change it, but there's a big hole here, which I'm not sure I love. For now, I'm gonna copy WDO and see what other seats we have that may look a little nicer. Big cluster here, that could be fun. Cluster here, it's not bad. You can just go ahead and find a seat until you find one that you really like. And go from there. I would like more stuff in the mountains in general. I don't mind if they're clustered up like this. This looks nice. There's stuff in the mountains there, stuff in the mountains here. Good little cluster on that side. That's pretty good. Generate that, give it some time again. That's what it does. And once it's ready, we should be able to see the industries in front of us somewhere. There they are. Popped right into view. And now, this is the most important part, which I never thought of when I built these big maps. Go to your maps. You can highlight them, or you can pin them for now. What we want to do is only allow tiny or small towns on your map. Click on size, find all the big cities, and delete them, and then replace them. If you don't know how to delete, I use my keyboard usually, but B opens the bulldozer, so I click B. And if you highlight the city name, you can delete the whole city. Yep, I want to delete the whole city. Since we are in the map builder, you can create a new town. Pick your town. You can choose commercial and industrial needs if you want. You can be fancy and make towns that only require passengers and just turn it off. I like it to keep everything for right now, and I like to use tiny cities so my game runs smoother for longer. One disclaimer at this point maybe, this is not a perfect solution for the whole game. At some point in the game, you will have too many agents. At that point, unless the game gets fixed, you really can't do anything about it. But for right now, we can just go through, find all the big towns, anything that's bigger. I usually say anything that's bigger than 75 people living there, and replace them. Don't worry, it grows pretty fast at the when you actually get started developing them, and all your transport lines will make money. I tried it out, and it's no problem at all. Yeah, all these big cities, they will slow down your game a lot. Nope, we don't want towns. There you go. Feel free to move your towns around. I like the random place because my imagination is not as great as the game's, it seems. So I just replace them where they are. Keep moving down the list of towns until you have everything. I believe if I click 2... Nope. This is not a hotkey. Maybe someone can point out if there's a hotkey to get to towns. You can probably set one in the menu, but I don't have one. Usually, the street one or road one is 1, and then the next one is 2, 3, 4, and so on. But I guess the map manager is a little different, which is fine. You only have to use it at the beginning. Close this one. At this point, I probably should mention that I'm very much planning on making a Let's Play on this map once we're done, so this map is not just going to go away. However, this is my first time streaming and creating videos, so would appreciate any feedback you guys have. I do know my microphone is not the greatest. It's something I intend to replace hopefully soon. But I do want to see if this is something that I want to do long term first. Gotta test it out. Otherwise you won't know if you like it, right? I wish there was a way to set the scroll to not just jump into the center of the city, but scroll in all the way. All I want is the name to show up, because if you scroll too far into the map, you're not able to see the name. Here, I'll just show you. When you're really close, the town name goes away. If you scroll away far enough, it shows up. Otherwise you can only delete parts of the city, and that's no fun. Got that one. Just a few more. You should pay attention to your town names. The game, when it randomly generates towns, is not terrible at only using one name, but when we do what we are doing right now, there's a good chance town names will be reused. Just be aware. So we'll just can either fix it here or we fix it when you're actually in game later. Getting pretty close. I do think I just forgot to place a town. We'll see where that goes. Pretty sure I forgot to replace a town after I deleted it. But that should not be a big problem for us. This one's barely 60. Still want to stay smaller. Okay, that is a that's a mouthful. Okay, let's see. How many cities do we have? I want to make sure that we have 24. I don't think we have 24 anymore, but let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 23. Yay, I forgot one. Shouldn't be a big deal. One thing you can do here to help yourself with where you want to place another one is, was it this one? This one? No, town connection. Here we go, main connections. This is what determines where your cities are actually trying to connect to. I think I want to place another city right here. And then we get back to this one. So it's next to the big lake. South side, right here. Let's make this one a little fancier. Still small. Just maybe build it so that eventually it will sprawl onto the other side of the water. Okay, let's get back to the main connections. I am not super particular here. I want everything to be connected, and this will also generate roads for you, so you don't have to build them when you're playing. And actually, when this is done, I want to tell you one thing you may want to consider when you start playing. So when I did this last, when I did a test on this, I generated everything in 1850, and when I was done, I changed the year to 1950 because I like playing with the diesel trains. Diesel trains are great and all, but at that time you also have vehicles like trucks that require higher speeds on your roads. Well, these dirt roads aren't really great for high-speed roads. So if you want to run bigger trucks, you have to upgrade every piece of road that you want to connect to in every city. For a big network, that's a lot of work. So what I like to do, actually, there we go. Default main connections. Everyone's connected. Cool. Pretty happy with that. All the streets are connected. Everyone's happy. I believe this is fine. Check something. When we look here, look at our destinations. We have a lot of destinations. I think if I regret this, I rather regenerate this. It should be just fine the way it is. But I want to be sure. And the next thing you want to do, save the map at this time of the year because of the roads. That's really the only reason. Otherwise, you could just go in and start a new game and just play with the sandbox mod enabled. And with the sandbox mod, you can just go back and change your year to whatever you want it to be. Okay. Excellent. There's all our roads again. Nothing should have changed. Save your map. Let's call this 24 Tiny's Stream 1850. Nope, not 2850, 1850. Make sure you give it a name that actually means something to you in 3 months, otherwise you're probably not going to pick this map up again. Okay, next I'm going to remove all the roads, change our year to 1950, and try to re-add all the roads. Most of the pathing should be the same, so I'm expecting it to not change much, but I actually haven't tried this. So let's change you to 1950. Oh, that reminds me, are you aware that there are a couple years in the game that when it's running, things actually happen? One of them is 1920. Your towns get different, it's 1920 or 1900, I believe it's 1920. Pretty sure it's 1920. When you get to that year, you may encounter some lagging because your towns upgrade to different types of buildings. So a bunch of stuff in every single town happens just around that time of the game. Another one is 2000. Everything changes again because everyone gets the modern housing and modern skyscrapers, and everything is just different again. All your cities have to go through that. So when you encounter lagging around those times in your gameplay, just let it do its thing. It will go away and you don't have to do it again. It just has to be done at least once. Okay, let's see. Everything is still the same. Let's regenerate this and see if it gives me upgraded roads. I think that would be wonderful. I'm thirsty. It looks like it's doing more than it did earlier, so I hope this means we're getting upgraded roads. Will be wonderful. I do see that someone is in the chat. Could you do me a favor and type anything in the chat? I want to try out my new, the new program. Just making sure that it actually tells me if someone says something. I will know that when I'm hopefully editing this down to just the important pieces and take all the loading out, this will not be a 30-minute video because there's really not that much we're doing. This is just setup. I would actually like to get to actual gameplay. Maybe if we're lucky I can set up the initial roads today, or initial routes, which would be connecting at least all towns that are close to each other. And I'll show you something that I like to do there. Which you hopefully want to use, maybe not. I think it's more efficient. You may disagree, but it seems to work for when I do it. Okay. All the roads disappeared. There's a fancy, there's Big Red. That's not the name, but it's the fancy bridge that they just added in one of the later patches. Let's see, what are the connections here? There was a connection here earlier. This town doesn't seem to have anything. Something didn't go right. There's a lot less roads than we had before, and it doesn't feel like every town is connected at all. So I'm going to retry this. See if it makes a difference. We definitely got some upgraded roads, but not everywhere, so that's a little strange. And Fanny Stratford. it looks like we got more roads. Yeah, I'm happy with this. So, yeah, see, these are, I think, the 60-mile-per-hour roads. They will help you when you start in the 50s. So, let's see, how many of the names are duplicated? I would say it's pretty good. Obviously choose your own names if you want. It's your game, play it the way you like it. And we'll go from there. So, all we need now is to save this one for 1950 instead of 1850. That's really all you have to do